The creature in the crawlspace, scratching in the dark. Daniel Whitmore never believed in ghosts, monsters, or things that go bump in the night. He was a practical man, a loner by nature, living in a house he inherited from his late uncle. The place was old, a relic of another time, with creaking floorboards and a basement that always smelled of damp earth. The first time he heard it, he assumed it was just rats. A faint scratching beneath the floor, soft like claws raking against wood. Lying in bed one night, he heard it more clearly. Small, deliberate movements beneath the floorboards. It wasn't random scurrying. It had a pattern, a kind of awareness. He pushed it to the back of his mind, blaming it on his imagination. But over the next few nights, the sounds grew worse, louder, close. Then came the voice. It started as a whisper, so faint he thought it was the wind, but soon he could make out words. Distorted, slurred versions of his own name. Danfayo. A sharp breath. A dragging sound. And let me out. His blood turned to ice. His stomach twisted. He lay frozen in bed, staring at the ceiling. The voice was coming from the crawl space beneath the house. Something in the shadows. The next day, Daniel decided to investigate. Armed with a flashlight and a crowbar, he crouched before the rusted metal hatch leading to the crawl space. He hesitated before prying it open. The smell hit him first. Stale earth, rotting wood, something organic. It was the scent of dampness, of something alive. His flashlight cut through the darkness, revealing exposed beams and hanging cobwebs. His breath came slow and uneven as he swept the light along the walls. And then he saw them. Scratch marks, long, deep gouges in the wooden beams, trailing along the dirt, as if something had been trying to claw its way out. The air grew colder. A presence seemed to shift in the darkness, like something just outside the reach of his light. Daniel's pulse quickened. His instincts screamed at him to run. And then a voice, his own voice, whispered from the far end of the crawl space. "Daniel, come down here." The flashlight flickered. Something moved. He slammed the hatch shut, shoving heavy furniture against it. His hands trembled. He tried to convince himself it was just an echo, just his mind playing tricks. But deep inside, he knew something was down there, and it was learning. It mimics me. The next few days were worse. The whispers grew bolder, the mimicry more precise. At night, he heard his own voice calling from beneath the floor. Sometimes it spoke in broken fragments, half-formed sentences. Other times it copied his words from earlier in the day, replaying them with eerie accuracy. Then, one evening, it laughed. It wasn't just a whisper anymore. It was a voice identical to his own. "Let me out, Daniel," it crooned. "It's getting tight down here." He stopped sleeping. He barely ate. Every shadow in the house felt heavier. Every creak in the floor a warning. Then, one night, he woke to the sound of his own voice, humming a tune he hadn't sung in years. A childhood lullaby. His mother used to sing it to him. His breath hitched, his body locked in place. Then, in a voice that was no longer his own, it whispered, "You can't keep me in here forever. and from the crawlspace door, something knocked. Once, twice, 3 times. The skin of a man. Desperate, Daniel called a contractor to seal off the crawlspace. The man arrived the next morning, a burly worker named Tom. He chuckled when Daniel described the noises, but when they opened the hatch, his face drained of color. "Jesus," Tom muttered. "Something's been living in here." Daniel peered inside. The space was different. The walls looked stretched, distorted. The wooden beams bulged like something had been pressing against them from the inside. And in the farthest corner of the crawlspace, half buried in the dirt, was a mound of flesh. Tom swore. "Is that..." A hand twitched in the dirt. Not a human hand. Too many joints, too long. It moved. It knew they were there. Tom stumbled backward. "We need to..." Then the thing spoke. Not in Daniel's voice, not anymore. It spoke in Tom's voice. "Tom," it said, mimicking the contractor perfectly. "Don't leave me down here." Tom ran. Daniel slammed the hatch shut, but the door didn't close all the way. Something held it open from the inside. The thing that wears my face. Daniel fled the house that night, staying at a motel on the edge of town. He barely slept, heart racing at every distant creak or whisper of wind against the window. By morning, he resolved to return and burn the damn place down. But when he pulled into the driveway, his blood ran cold. The front door was open. The furniture had been moved. The air smelled different. Less damp, more human. And then he saw himself, sitting on the couch. It wore his face, his clothes. It smiled at him, head cocked slightly, watching. It spoke in his voice. "Daniel," it said with an easy smile, "come sit down." He couldn't move. The thing steadied him, as if memorizing his expressions. Then, slowly, it stood. Its body twitched, skin shifting slightly, as though it hadn't yet settled into the right shape. "You left the door unlocked last night," it said, "so I let myself out." Daniel ran. He doesn't know where to go, who to turn to, but deep inside, he knows. One thing for certain, he never really left the crawlspace closed. And now it walks the earth in his skin.